Good afternoon. My name is Niskanen. This is my vlog of making all of my own clothes. And this week we are going to be working on a sweater, a raglan sleeved sweater by Crafterpreneur Studios, and the name of the pattern is Sabrina. And yeah, so very first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to put the sleeves together. So the sleeves are massive. Like this is half of a sleeve. This is half of a sleeve. The back half, actually. So it's a batwing style design. I'm very much here for it. And yeah, so let's get going. I will see you on the other side. All right, the sleeves are put together, and the sleeves are also sewn into the front piece. I don't know if it was just how I put the pieces together, or if there was an error in the pattern, but I was missing the notch for the front piece. I sort of guesstimated where the notch would be based on the back piece, and I seem to have gotten it pretty correctly, but I still have, like, there's a bit of a tail here and a little bit missing from the other end. So, I don't know. But, now I'm going to top stitch the seams here. And, I'm guessing after that it's going to be putting together the back. This is coming along rather quickly. I wasn't expecting it to be this quick. The fabric feels sort of odd. I think it's probably just dye residue. So I really need to wash this after I'm done. But that is, yeah, it's coming along rather nicely. I think that I might be able to get this done pretty quickly, even though I need to get a lot of other things done today as well. But in the meanwhile, I will see you on the other side. The thing I love about a good raglan is it comes together rather quickly. The sleeves are pieced. The fronts are combined to the sleeves. The front, one front. And the back is also attached to the sleeves and the front. So the next thing I need to do is to sew on the side seams so that I can have those enormous bat wings joined and have an actual sweater. Then after that, I think the only thing left to do is to put on the ribbing. It's coming along rather nicely and rather more quickly than I expected it would. I probably won't be able to finish all of it tonight, but especially since basically what she has you do in the pattern is to finish every seam twice. So you have you put together the actual seam, and then, well, technically 3 times. So she instructs you to do the thing on the sewing machine, but I'm doing it on the serger to make it faster. But you make the seam happen, finish the seam allowance, and then top stitch every seam after it's done, so that you get this funky sort of look to it. I really like it. The as for the thing that I mentioned earlier about the seams not matching, this is the front and this is the back. So it appears as if it's intentional, because I did have the notches in the back piece. The difference is larger on the front piece in the bottom. This one I basically snipped off a little bit of that one. So yeah, anyway, time to start pinning the side seams together. So I will see you on the other side. Alright, so the sweater is almost done. The side seams are closed. These sleeves are massive. I love it so much. They're so big. Anyway, the next thing, the side seams don't get top stitched, so the next thing on my list is the ribbing, I think. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm gonna get that done, and I will see you on the other side again. And thus we come close to the end. I have here the neckband. It is perhaps a slightly more rugged ribbing than intended for this pattern, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I think this particular ribbing is actually meant mostly for coats and such, but I think it's gonna I think it's gonna be really good with this particular pattern. Anyway, I have sewn the center back seam for this piece, but I have also the waistband and then the cuff ribbings as well, and I'm gonna sew those seams and press all of them at once, and then I'm going to sew those in, then press those all at once, and then finally, once the pressing and sewing is done, I'm gonna top stitch all of them at once. So I will see you on the other side. Something tells me there's an error in the grading of this pattern. What is this? Like, seriously? This is... I look like a kid borrowing my parents' clothing. This is not... I don't think this is what it's supposed to be. So, I am thinking that I might, before I actually finish this thing, that I might take maybe like 5 centimeters off the shoulders and then grade that down to the sleeve. I need to redo the top stitching on both of the sleeves, and I need to take out the neckband and re-sew that on, resize it. Hold on. So yeah, I need to take out the neckband, obviously. I also need to I'm thinking probably maybe 5 centimeters on each side from both pieces, and then grading that down to nothing by the end of the cuff, because the sleeves are meant to be big and they are actually really glorious. It's just the rest of it that is kind of off scale. Like this neckline. What is this neckline? Seriously. What? Like it is actually pulling the shirt that I have on underneath, because it's just so unwieldy. Okay, there we go. But yeah, it definitely looks like I am a kid wearing my parents' clothing. The sleeves are too long. I purposely made the body longer because I like my sweaters to be a little bit longer. I don't like them to hit at my waist. I like them to hit at like my high hip. Or, you know, full hip. But anyway, I like them to be a bit longer. So that's on me. But even if, like, I did not make this that long, so there is definitely something going on with the grading of this thing, because the neckline is way too big. Like, I went back and checked my measurements against the measurements stated in the pattern, and my measurements are at the very top limit of the 3X size, which is the size that I made. And this is not a good, this is not a good look. Like, it kind of reminds me of a 5X t-shirt that I have in the scaling. Like the 5, actually I don't think I have that t-shirt anymore because I wore it to shreds. I used to sleep in it. I got it from a convention. It was we were trying to get people to vote for the Helsinki World Con in 2015, and after the voting was done, we still had one 5X t-shirt there that was unsold, and you know, I got it, and it was great to sleep in. It was my best sleep wear ever. And this neckline reminds me of that. Like, it seems like whoever did the grading, what they actually did was to just scale up without scale up universally, instead of taking into account that, you know, as you go into the XL ranges, extra large ranges, your block kind of changes. Like, your neckline doesn't change as much as your, for example, girth does. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pin out about 5 centimeters on both sides. See where that takes me, and if it works out, great, I'll sew that, and if it doesn't, then I probably need to take out more, because like, there is plenty of room to take out in these sleeves, and that's by design, but I also don't want to take out so much that it's no longer workable, if you see what I mean. So anyway, I wish that it had worked out in one go. And if I hadn't used this fabric, if I had used a mock-up fabric, I would just I would probably go down a size or two and make another mock-up. But I used this fabric that I lovingly dyed in order to have a tracksuit out of this lovingly dyed fabric, which is beautiful. Like, I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, and it is gorgeous. It is just my color, and I cannot not try to make this pattern work for me. So I will probably not take this out, but I will see you on the other side with the edited version. I'll see you on the other side. Now it's just wrong in every possible way. Like, this is very frustrating. So I took out 5 centimeters on the shoulder, for a total of 10 centimeters per shoulder. And it's not great. I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder. The sleeves are still far too long. So I don't know, maybe I should, cause see, now it sort of fits through the bust. As you can see, my hands are at the raglan sleeves. So it fits through the bust. So would it be better if I took some of the volume out of the... Maybe if I didn't take so much out of the... I'm just very, very annoyed at this sweater right now. It's bad. The grading is bad. I don't know why. My guess is that they just went up because Crafterpreneur, whose name I can't remember, but she's quite tiny. Like, she's very busty and curvy, but she's quite tiny. So if you start from that kind of a block, and the sweater looks amazing on her. It does. It really does look amazing on her. Which is why I decided to try it. But yes, so if you start from that kind of a block and just keep going up, eventually you'll hit these problems. So right now what I've done is I have pinched out 5 centimeters per sleeve. So there are 2 sleeve pieces, so 5 centimeters per sleeve at the neckline, and then graded it out until about just past the elbow. So if I do this is still not amazing. Like, now we get to having this excess here at the neckline, and I honestly don't know if it's worth it to keep going, or if I should just abandon this and use the fabric to cut another sweater. 'Cause it's plenty big, especially if I treat the sleeves as 1 unit instead of 2, because the before my alterations, the seam is perfectly straight. So I could treat the sleeves as 1 unit and cut out a completely different sweater based on this. And I don't know. I'm very annoyed. This is not what I wanted. And now I'm getting strangled by my own sweater. Anyway, I am going to have something to eat before I get hangry. And then I will figure it out. I don't know. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I have consulted sewing friends, and I have consulted my own feelings about this matter, and this thing is just not gonna fly. Ha! Pun intended. I am annoyed beyond all measure at this thing, and trying to make it work is not going to make it better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart everything except this seam, because this seam is A, it's a straight seam, and B, I'm not sure that I would have enough for a sleeve without it. So I'm going to take apart all of the seams except that one, and then I'm going to remake this from another pattern. My friend Marianne assures me that, what was it, Sew House 7's, I can't remember the pattern name, but Sew House 7 has a pattern that she has made previously, so since she is actually bigger than I am, it looks very good. It looks like it does the things that I wanted this sweater to do, and it doesn't do. So what I'm going to do is move on. I'm going to cut my losses and just decide that this was a learning experience and that I may want to check the size of the neckline in the future, because this is ridiculous. Like, seriously, look at this. Anyway, if you like this video, I mean, listen, so I am going to put this online, even though it didn't end in a successful make. But the thing is, we all fail sometimes, and I have been sewing for long enough to know to the very, very innards of my soul that not being able to get something to work is not necessarily a failing on my part. And even when it is a failing on my part, I still learned something. So I'm going to put this video online for those who come after me, who will hopefully be inspired to keep sewing, even though they have just been faced with a, shall we say, less than perfect project. In the meanwhile, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you next Thursday.